If you're thinking about getting into aggressive rollerblading, you've picked the best time to do so. There has never been so many great value for money options as there is right now. I've been aggressive skating for most of my life, and I'm here to tell you the skates that I would choose if I was going to get into rollerblading right now in 2024. And every single skate I mentioned is under 250 US dollars, which I think is a great price point to start with. I'm going to go through the pros and cons and help you choose which one is best for you, as well as ending up with the one I would pick out of all of these. Starting off with the cheapest skate, we have the Playlife Reactor, which is a relatively new company that comes from an established brand named Powerslide, so you can trust them. It's around 150 US dollars depending on where you get it, and it is an exceptionally good value for money for that price. The reason it's so cheap is it's an older version of one of the more popular skates, and a skate we'll talk about later in this list. So they're kind of getting rid of old stock or old molds that aren't being used, making it a lot cheaper. The skate itself is very standard, not specialized in any weird way, has a forgiving fit, it's true to size, has a very nice size sole plate, so great for learning new tricks. Most of the parts are replaceable, so if you end up stuck with it, you can replace parts and keep it going for a long time. But the value for money is the biggest selling point for the skate. It comes set up flat, which is something I would recommend for anyone getting into aggressive rollerblading. That means it comes with 4 wheels down on both feet. When it comes to flat skates though, the frame design is very important. If you have a bad design frame for flat, it won't be fun to skate. You'll be sticking on things, the wheels will be touching. And I'm happy to say that this skate comes with one of the best flat frames on the market. It's called the Kaiser Fluid 5. A lot of people choose these frames. It is a really great design for flat, and I think will be exceptionally good for a beginner learning some tricks. Even better though, if you wanted to just buy this frame and some wheels, you're looking at spending around about 135 US dollars, which is almost the same price as this whole skate, showing how much value you get for your money with this skate. Similar to the Playlife Reactor skate, we have another skate here that's just a cheaper version of an already very popular skate, and that is the Roces M12 High Black. Now don't get the skate confused with the Roces M12 Low or the Roces M12. The difference between these ones here and the way you can spot it is just by the cuff here. If you look at the cuff on this skate, it is a higher cuff, and the liner also lines up with that high cuff. That is essentially the only difference though, and you're saving a bunch of money with this option. The reason the skate is cheaper and the reason it's black is because it's made from offcuts of the other skates, so it's leftover plastic that they reuse, which helps cut some costs. The skate mold has also been around a long time, so they can get the price right down. When you buy this version of the skate, you're essentially getting the exact same skate as a normal M12, just with a different cuff, which won't change it that much. It's the same boot, the same sole plate, the same overall skating experience, but for a decent amount cheaper. So this skate is a slim fit, so if you have a wide foot, you probably will not be able to skate this skate. If you have a normal to narrow foot, you'll be fine though. And the benefits of having a slim skate like this is you get a really responsive skate. It's easier to turn without scraping on the ground, and it's overall a great experience. Just quite a simple skate that gives you everything you need. This narrowness also comes with a smaller sole plate though, with the smallest sole plate on the market as far as I know, which does make grinds a little more difficult to learn, but when you learn them, you'll learn them properly. You can't get away with doing incorrect technique, which can be a good foundation for getting into aggressive skating. It will be harder, but it's not like you won't be able to do it. This skate, like all Roces, features the best buckle in rollerblading. If you start with this buckle, you will never be able to leave it. It is so good. It's what's called a memory buckle, so every time you use it, it's always the same tightness. But not just that feature, the whole buckle build and quality itself is unmatched. There's nothing like it on the market, and it is a huge selling point for the skate. Now this skate does come anti-rocker, which means it'd be better for someone who only really cares about grinds, not too interested in skating ramp and stuff. Not saying that you can't skate ramp and stuff in it, but it will be a worse experience than if you skate flat. The frame it comes with too it's an indestructible beast of a frame, but it's a pretty bad frame. I can see from here it's got no groove. Still definitely skatable and will last you a good amount of time. And you can change the frame. It's got changeable parts in it. Everything but the cuff can be changed. So if you want to change your flat frame, you can do that in the future. But I wouldn't buy this with the hopes of swapping the frame. You should buy this if you want to skate anti-rocker. In a similar vibe and even a similar price, we have the skate called the Razor Cole. Now this is another skate that's been around a long time, which is why it's so affordable. Just like the M12, it's a smaller skate with a smaller sole, so you have a bit more of a challenge learning tricks, like grinds, sole tricks, but when you learn them, you'll learn them properly. And this one is a little more forgiving than the last. The main differences between this skate and the M12 is this one has a little more forgiving fit. It's not wide, it's still a narrow skate, but you can get away with a little bit more. It doesn't have as good a buckle as the M12. This has just got a normal plastic buckle. And the frame that this one comes with, in my opinion, is a much better frame for skating anti-rocker. It's anti-rocker just like the Roces, so it's better for someone who wants to just mainly focus on grinds, but this frame will be much better out the box for grinding. It is softer than the last one, so it might not last as long, but it is a great frame for skating anti-rocker. You may see some more expensive versions of the Colt. The biggest difference here will once again be either it's a pro skate for someone, that's why it costs more, or there is a new sole plate they come out with that's one piece, which will be compatible with the cheaper ones if you buy them. So if you buy the old ones, wear the sole plates out, you can buy the new sole plates to replace them. You end up with the exact same skate. Once again, there's no downside to getting the cheaper version of the skate here. Moving on to the next skate, we have the USD Sway, coming in at around $215, give or take. This is a skate I mentioned in the very first skate and being the updated version of the Playlife Reactor skate. They have changed the look of the skate enough to the point where it doesn't look like it's the same skate, but it is the same skate. All they've done is filled in the holes on the boot mold, put a new buckle on it, and put a brand new sole plate on it. Now these are mostly aesthetic things, but they overall are a step up from the Playlife Reactor skate. The new sole plate is a better shape, I think. It's more kind of uniform and more up to modern standards, but I don't think there'll be any disadvantage to having the Playlife Reactor. It's mostly an aesthetic thing, I think. All the differences are very minute and very slight. There's no huge jump up in quality, but this is a more modern, better quality version of the other skate. This version here, the $215 one, does come anti-rocker though, so you got to realize you're getting less full wheels with this one as well. It's a good setup though. It's a good frame for anti-rocker. It'll be great and treat you well and last a long time. There are some more expensive versions of the Sway. Usually the differences once again are either it's a pro skate, so there's a skater's royalty that's added on the top, or maybe it comes with different frames, and maybe it comes flat. There's some flat versions of this exact same skate that pushes the price up. So you just got to keep an eye out for that. But if you want to skate anti-rocker, the cheapest one here is a good one to go for. This skate has all the same benefits as the Playlife Reactor skate, being a very standard, safe skate that's got a true to size fit, has a forgiving sole plate, and a really good frame for getting in. It'll be a great choice for anyone getting into skating. Moving on to the next skate, we have the TNEC 58 coming in at around 220-ish US dollars. This skate is very similar to the last two with a classic no-through kind of vibe, but with one key difference, and that is the fact that it has a sole frame. Every skate I mentioned in this list before now has had a replaceable frame. It's UFS, meaning you can go to a skate shop, buy any aggressive frame, as long as it's UFS, which they all will be, and you'll be able to swap it out. So long term, if you wheel one out, if you don't like one, you can change it if you want. The TNEC 58, you cannot do that on. The sole and the frame are one piece, and even if you want to replace that, that is riveted onto the boot, so you can't take it off. Now this design has some key benefits, one being that it's just a lot simpler. So if you don't have to worry about bolts coming loose or having to worry about any of the parts in general, you just want to put the skates on and skate, this would be a great option for you. But it also can skate better. This one kind of piece design where the sole and frame are connected and then riveted to the boot gives you a very responsive skate, meaning you're more in control, you can turn tighter, you can feel the grinds better, and the skate is a lot lighter. And since they don't have to worry about UFS bolts, they can put a really good groove on this. They can put the wheels in a spot where they can't on a UFS frame, giving you a better flat skating experience. Because once again, if you didn't notice, this skate comes flat, which is better for the person who wants to do not just grinds, but also wants to explore doing some air tricks, some ramp tricks, and just enjoys skating in general, not just grinds. Now, this skate looks and feels a lot like the M12, but has a more forgiving fit with a much wider toe box. So you should be able to get away with a more true to size fit. The TNEC has quite a forgiving sole plate, but not too small that you can't lock on. So it's kind of a better version of the M12, but less customizable. TNEC stands for the New Everything Company, and the 58 stands for the wheel size, which is 58. There's no difference between the two colors. This is made to be an entry-level skate, so it's a perfect choice. Very similarly to the TNEC, we have another kind of one-piece design skate, and that is the Aeon 60, in particular the Aeon 60 Team. Now this skate comes in at around about 240 US dollars, depending on where you get it, and it's the same kind of sole frame design, except the whole boot and the frame are connected. This design comes with very similar benefits to the TNEC, where you get a more responsive skate because it's all one piece. You have a better groove for flat, so it's once again best for flat, can't be beat. And it makes the skate a lot lighter and more simple and less complicated if you don't want to worry about losing bolts and stuff. The big key difference between the two though is since the boot and the frame and the sole plate have to be made with the same material, it's a little bit softer than the average frame and sole plate, which does lead to a more sticky sole plate, so it's kind of hard to grind. But not enough to stop you grinding, but noticeably slower for sliding once you've worn them in a little bit. The Aeon has a great size sole plate and a great size groove for learning grinds and just skating in general. It's quite forgiving and arguably one of the best setups for skating flat, especially if if you're just learning. So Aeon 60 refers to the 60mm wheels. So if you see a different number, just as a different size wheel, the 60 is the size that's best for aggressive skating in my opinion. So make sure you stick to that one. If you see some big price differences between Aeons, it's usually a few things. Once again, it's the pro skaters cut. So that's a big chunk of it. Other things is usually they might change like a liner or a 45-degree strap or the wheels. So once again, if you get the cheapest version of this Aeon, you're not really missing out on too much. You're not really getting too much extra value for your money if you go for the higher end of that. If you're really lucky and you look on some skate shops, you might be able to find the older version of the Aeon Basic, which is significantly cheaper, but only has a older cuff and an older buckle. That's the only difference. It's the same skate. This version here though does have that new buckle and new cuff. The new cuff is rockable and the new buckle is a little stronger, so it is an upgrade. A rockable cuff just means you can raise and lower it, which is something you can trial out to get some different kind of feeling in the skate. I wouldn't worry about it too much though. All the skates I mentioned, I do think will be a great entry level and a great skate to choose. But if I did have to narrow it down to one, I would go with the Playlife Reactor skate because I believe its value for money is unbeatable. That price point for the product you get in return is an exceptionally good deal, and the skate itself is a good well-rounded skate, very standard. If you have any questions about any of the skates or getting into aggressive skating at all, feel free to comment them below and I'll get back to you the second I can. I want to give a massive thank you to my patrons for making this video possible. I would not be able to do it without them. Thanks so much for watching and welcome to rollerblading. I'll see you out there.